Hi guys, it's Sean Lillywhite back here on the video, and today I'm going to be basically making a thumbnail for you guys. Now, a lot of people have their own different thumbnail style, and a lot of people have ways that they make thumbnails, but I have mine, and if you guys like the way I make my thumbnails, then you might be able to take some out of this, and if you don't like the way I make my thumbnails, then you can just ignore this video. But I wanted to make this because it's kind of like, I saw Jacksepticeye's video on it a couple of years back, and it was like, I'm somewhat decent at Photoshop, so I thought I might as well show you my process for things, show you why I do them, and if you like the way I make my thumbnails, then maybe you can take something for this. So first we actually got to make a fucking file here. 1920, 1080, there's not really any difference to that. It's 1080p, that's what you want. Now, what thumbnail I'm going to be making is actually a Modern Warfare 3 thumbnail, because I want to do a video on that game. So first, I need a background. Now, when it comes to picking a background, I like to pick something that's in the game universe, because if I made like a Modern Warfare 3 video and I had a Red Dead Redemption 2 background, it just wouldn't make sense. So I tend to, yeah, I say that's alright. So I like to get one that have like little bits of, especially when it comes to Call of Duty, like little bits of colour in it, because then I'll show you what I can do in a sec. So first thing I do with any background image is I go up to image and hit auto tone. I like that because it kind of like dampens down the colour a bit. I'm going to be basically doing things, I'm not the best at explaining things, but I'm basically going to be doing it, and I don't want to show, oh, look what it does, because I think you guys are smart enough to see what the hell these things can do. Contrast, never fucking changes anything, does it? Colour. See, usually it has a fucking yellow thing over it, and it looks terrible, but here it actually looks nice. So always hit all of them, because some images it will work, some images it won't. Now, what I like to do is, the reason why I have these is to increase the saturation a little bit, make sure it doesn't look like a fucking drug trip. And look, these kind of stand out a bit more. Decrease. I'll try and decrease the brightness a little bit just to make those pop out a bit, not too much, because if I decreased the brightness all the way, it'd just be black. Or if I increased it, it'd just be white. Now, what I want to do is increase the vibrancy a bit and the saturation. All this basically does, like, it's a background, you're not really going to see it that much, but it just makes things stand out a bit more. It just makes things look a little bit nicer, and that's pretty much the reason. Now, I like to blur it. My favourite blur is field blur, because it just kind of like, it makes everything look not blurred, and like I try a lot of different blurring things. Like sometimes I'll use one sec. Sometimes I'll use the other blur effects, like iris blur, tilt shift, or spin blur. It really depends on what thumbnail I'm making, but I don't like to blur it all the way, because blurred backgrounds, it makes it stand out a lot, but you also want to see what the difference is. And with this like fire background, I can fit in a character here. See, I say the worst thing about making thumbnails, oh god, is sometimes it will be a pain in the arse, because you have to download images, because sometimes it won't copy and paste because it's not kosher or something, I don't know. But I always try and get images that at least match, or at least get decent enough quality, because otherwise it would just look like, imagine if I had like a really high definition 4K background, it's going to be blurred anyway, but then I just had like a 144p image for the front part. It's not going to look that nice. Now, how Sean, you are probably asking me, but look, it's got all this white part in the background. How do we get rid of that? Now, there's multiple ways. You can use a pen or a lasso. I used to use that all the time, because that's when I first started with Photoshop, it was the only way I actually knew how to like cut characters out, but it was so slow, and it still come out like really boxy, like there were like really hard edges for some part and really soft edges for others, and it just didn't exactly look right. But or you can use kind of like the quick selection tool, it's in with the magic wand, or you can use the magic wand tool. I haven't actually got this layer selected, you dumbass. Or you can just go select subject, and then it will hit the image for you, because it's for this one, it's a lot easier because it's black on white. It's really easy for the AI to tell. But if it doesn't get some things, you can like go in with the quick select tool, and then you can like hover stuff it doesn't get, I'll just use that as a demonstration, like hover things, or you can hit Alt and it will push it more towards it. So hold Alt and it will push it more towards, hold this, don't hold Alt and it will push it away from the image. Now, if this doesn't appear up here, select subject or select a mask, just press W on your keyboard. God, Sean Lily White's Photoshop tutorials. But yeah, there we go. I have this view part. I have it on onion skin, which is the transparent background. And there are little white bits here. So what you can do is you can like shift the edge. So if I shifted the edge up this way, it will push everything that's cut out like away from the image. So it will push things outwards away from the image. But if I decrease it, it will push things back towards the image. Sometimes I like to smooth it out a bit and then up the contrast a little bit. This doesn't really matter. You can like radius it out or use smart radius. Now, if you have someone on a green screen, you can use decontaminate colors and then select your color. Now, one thing that I keep on doing is I keep on clicking OK, and this won't do anything. What you need to do is you can go output 2 and then layer mask, which will make it basically this layer will be cut out, or new layer, which means you still have that first layer that we copied and pasted in, and then you'll have this one, and then new layer with mask, new document, things like that. I always use layer mask because there's no point having 2 layers of the same thing, and boom, there you go. Fantastic. Here's the thing with these things, right? Like, you could go up to auto tone, and that doesn't really change much, or auto contrast. That doesn't really change much because it's a very black image. But yeah, you can have these. But the problem with this one is because it's grey on black, it's kind of difficult to make it out. So what I tend to do with things like this is add in a bit of, you can add in drop shadows, outline it a bit more, or you can use like an outer glow thing. So because it's Modern Warfare 3, I've got the game case back there. I don't know if you'll be able to see it that well or not, but it's Modern Warfare. What colour do you associate with Modern Warfare? You associate green. So that is actually a really fucking nice green. I might have to save that. It just makes it so it stands out a little bit more, because if everything just like blended in with each other, it wouldn't look right. It'd look a bit off. But yeah, these are my like drop shadow and outer glow settings. You can mess with them. And you can get to your preferences, and if you don't like it, you can just reset default here. So you got things like that. If you wanted to make it like, you know, you got cartoon characters and you got like their little line, black line here. If you go to stroke, then it will automatically do that for you. I do that with some thumbnails and add the outer glow, especially with logos, to make it stand out a little bit more, to make it look a little bit nicer, to do things like that. But some things it's worth, some things it isn't. Just click OK. Do not click cancel. Adobe, can you make it so cancel and OK aren't so close to each other? The amount of times I've gotten things just right, then accidentally hit cancel because I wasn't looking. But I'm just an idiot, most likely. Now, one thing that I also like to do here, keep in mind this is the way I make thumbnails. Don't listen to me if you don't want to, but you want to be watching this video. Otherwise, Sean Lily White making sense in 2023 is not a cohesive thing. Now, what I like to do is to add in a little bit more color, is add a gradient. This is, like, I think it can make it stand out a bit more. Orange? I don't know. Like, with these, it's just kind of like, I wouldn't say trial and error. It's just doing what you like and you think looks nice. Like, I think this adds a little bit more color. I might have to, with this background, just press Control T if you want to move it. Moving it up a bit, because otherwise that's going to cover the fire a bit. Now, what I do a lot in my thumbnails, because it adds personality and it also adds, is it individuality the word I'm looking for? I don't know, but I like to add in my face. But the issue with this now is, as you can probably see, I've changed my haircut after 4.5 billion years. And every single thumbnail face has the side hair. But, so, as I'm still going to add my face into, like, thumbnails and stuff, but as it goes on, we're going to start getting rid of kind of, like, the side hair and kind of, like, move in with the hair I have now. It doesn't really matter, to be honest, because you can still tell it's me, but it's that little thing that I kind of like to add. Now, I have a whole fucking folder of thumbnail faces. Now, I try not to use, like, I only have like 4 or 5 good thumbnail faces. I try not to use thumbnail faces over and over again because it gets repetitive and it gets a bit boring. But sometimes you have to, like for a horror game, that screaming face that I use quite a bit is really good for them. Sometimes you got like thumbnail faces like this and this. It really depends what I match. This is probably my most used one. You've probably seen this all the time. This was from a Would You Rather video, like nearly like for like last year. This one is probably my most used because, in my opinion, it's the best one I have. But then again, it's whatever, to be honest. So now the thing is, if you can tell it's a screenshot from a video because I'm wearing a headset. If there's a thumbnail if there's a thumbnail face where I'm not wearing a headset, it could either mean that it's probably that I took that, like that image was brand new, it's not from a video. But if I am wearing the headset, then it's not like that. Now this is what I like because I think this actually looks alright with this face. Now I just gotta line it up with the character and do the exact same thing because like I'm using a webcam, I'm not using like a professional camera. Like if you zoom in things here, like the colours look a bit washed out and my eyes look more green than blue, and like you can kind of see where it's like boxed out. This is what I was on about the pencil layer, like anything that should look round. I didn't mean to move that. I have my history showing so I can easily close things. If you want to do that, go to window and then you've got all your things here. But yeah, like sometimes it'll look a little bit off, and yeah, so what I tend to do with this is auto tone. See, that brightened up my skin a bit more, which I don't really like. Auto contrast, again, that did fuck all. And then, see, I don't know if it was the way this image was taken, but most of my Photoshop things will have like a yellow thing, will make things more yellow. I don't know why that is, but I don't know. Now, I could use curves. Now, this is basically, you got your highlights and you got your shadows. If you increase your highlights, then things will get more bright. If you increase your things, yeah. And this will like increase certain things. I'm not the best at explaining it. It was in Jacksepticeye's video, so if you want to watch that, you can watch that. But it's just kind of like that. I think that personally looks a lot better because it kind of like, it darkens my hair a bit more and makes it look like, because I want, how do I explain this? Basically, I want it to darken, I wanted it darkened a bit more, so like it matches like the character and the background and the setting that it's in. Now one thing I'm going to do here is hold shift and hit both these layers and actually make myself look a bit, yeah. Now I think that personally looks a bit better. I could go to like, if I actually select a layer, I could go here and then I could go like brightness and contrast, but if I choose brightness, it will do the whole image, and some things will look bad and some things will look better. Now, I personally think that looks better. Some people might think it's not, but at the end of the day, it's all up to you. Now, one of the things that I've been doing a lot more recently is adding in lens flares, because I'll show you in a minute. Now, with some lens flares, things that I used to do a lot was just like add them to one section to make them look better. But if you want to get rid of this black but still keep like this fuzziness, just go to here and click screen. Now this is a bit of a pain in the ass to do, but I think it looks pretty nice. Is grab this and zoom it out, like make it bigger, and then put it behind the character. I cannot use Photoshop now. Is do that. What I think that does is kind of like make the character stand out even more and add a focus point so your eyes are instantly drawn to this image, because YouTube thumbnails absolutely love color. If you're wondering why every thumbnail makes it look like a person like is having a seizure or whatever, it's because YouTube loves color and they will push, I think they'll push colored thumbnails more, but it's more eye-catching to a viewer. Like if you're going through a list of things and you see a black and white thumbnail and a brightly colored one, your eyes will instantly draw to the brightly colored one. And that, it's just the way we are. Fuck knows why, but it's just the way humans are, because we're attracted to more things that are more colourful. And the more colour, I wouldn't say go out of it, like add in super bright colours all the time and make it look like you're trying to give someone a migraine with your thumbnail. But do add color, because YouTube loves color. Like, mix and match colors, do things like this. It doesn't have to look fantastic. Like, see, a lot of people say, oh, blue doesn't go with orange. And the thing I say to that is, shut up. Like, mix and match. It's your thumbnail. Make it what you think it is. Now, one thing I like to do is merge these two down. Yes, apply. Because it means that I don't have to go through the whole like drop shadow and things like that, and it also gets rid of it going around here because these are two separate layers. And another thing I like to do is, because you're trying to make your thumbnail stand out, because there's a lot of thumbnails and you want people to be drawn to your video, so making a thumbnail, and a decent one, I would say, like, you can't exactly have a lot of text on screen because most people won't read it. And like, if you look at a lot of older thumbnails, you want to draw attention to it. So adding things like your face, adding things like colors, it's making things like, it's drawing eyes to your video, basically. Now, I'm not amazing at this, but this is just what I've picked up. Now, one of the things that could draw little eyes to it is sharpen. Sharpen out the edges to begin with to make it, sort out shit like that. Some people use smart sharpen. I just like to use regular sharpen. Now, I think that looks good, but if you can obviously sharpen it more, but if you sharpen it more, then you have things like this, and this just looks fucking horrible. So I'd say tone it down a bit. Don't go overboard with the sharpening, but just make it look decent. And one thing that I also do is add, these are a pain to do, but they look so nice, or I think they do, is fire embers or fire ash or things like that, especially with like Call of Duty things. It just makes things look a little bit nicer, in my opinion. And then I tend to duplicate this to see that, that's a lot nicer. I try to get it away from my face. I try and clear them away from my face to make sure that they don't look absolutely horrible. Actually, I've got a really good fire embers already made. Yeah, that looks a lot better. I can't find the re-image again, so I just keep it's from my God of War Ragnarok thumbnail. These little fire embers here, I think they look so good. Like, I really like them. There we go. Now, I try and keep them out of my face as much as possible, because you want to actually be able to see me. Like, if I have it all covered up, it'd look pretty terrible. I like to add those in just to, like, I don't know, it just adds like a bit of differentiation, I think. It makes it look a bit nice compared to other thumbnails on YouTube. But I try and make my thumbnails decent but different, because I don't want to like follow the same of everyone doing the exact same thing. That's why I don't really kind of like put characters. I like to add in my face, because I try and add in my face as much as possible, but some things look better with just like the characters, like with characters and the text cut out. But I like to keep some things from my older thumbnails, but also add in new styles and things like that. I think this looks really good, but one thing that I always do, and this is the perfect example of keeping things, sorry, I'm typing in things at the same time, is adding in the logo in the background. I pretty much always do it. Now, you don't have to do this, obviously, but this is just something I do. And I like to put it behind the character. I don't know why. I think I started doing this with like the Resident Evil thumbnails. Was it the Resident Evil thumbnails? I don't know. I started doing this quite a while ago. Yeah, I think it looks better behind there. But I started doing this a while ago, and I just kept on doing it because I think it looks pretty decent. But yeah, I like, obviously I go back in and like add bits that I do, like add bits that I find, and add bits that, or take away bits that I don't like. But pretty much that is how I make a thumbnail. One thing that I would say to anyone, like new YouTuber, old YouTuber, then again, I don't know why. If you want to listen to me, you can, but obviously some people find it a lot more comforting, I guess, to look towards a bigger YouTuber. But one thing that I would say is keep things away from this side of the screen, especially like the bottom right, because that is where the timestamp is. And if you're like putting things down here, then like if you look back at the DMCmas videos, like the 2022 ones, I try and keep things away from this side of the screen, because if I added in like the part number, it get blocked by the timestamp, and if you're on a mobile or something, then it looks really different. Another thing I would say is look at it in a smaller view, because keep in mind the thumbnail might look big to you, but keep in mind it's very small on like a phone screen or things. That's why I say don't add in too much text. If you're gonna add in text, then make it big enough. But if you're like crowding the screen like little bits of text and things, people can't read that when they're out here. Like if I added in like a whole paragraph here, then people won't be able to see that. So I'd say don't add in text, or don't add in too much text. So if it's like a part number, put the part number in. But yeah, I say that's pretty much done. If you guys have any advice for me, like there's probably a bunch of things that I did different. I know a lot of people, like I see a lot of people get like really offended and mad when viewers try and give them advice. But I'm not one of those people. If you have advice, or if you want to say, Sean, this thumbnail is absolutely fucking dreadful, here's what you can do, then tell me. Then I'm not going to be annoyed if people think I think I don't like the fire embers, or I don't like the lens flare, or I don't think you should add in the logo behind here. Then I can take advice. Like, keep in mind, guys, I try and take in your advice as much as I physically can. Like, if you guys think that my thumbnails aren't good, or you want me to kind of like update them, because I'm always trying to improve. Like, if you guys think that, oh, Sean, I don't really like the text, your thumbnails are a bit too crowded, or your thumbnails are a bit too bare, then tell me, because I can improve. So if you guys have any advice for me, then tell me, because I really love to hear your guys' advice. But yeah, I say that's pretty much it. I hope this has helped someone out there. I highly doubt it has, because I'm not a tutorialist and I'm a bit of an idiot, but I hope this has helped someone out there. New YouTuber, old YouTuber, I hope this has helped someone. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. But if you guys did enjoy this video, please do leave a like and subscribe, would greatly be appreciated. I'm going to somehow make a thumbnail for this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Flashbang, my worst enemy. That campers and campers snipers. I have a vendetta against campers, I do not like. Oh, thank you, lag. Oh no, X.